Hi guys, it's absolutely great to have you back here today. I'm going to go with another crazy detail video. So it seems that a lot of people like these videos. I'm going to talk in a lot of detail everything that's happening with posture in our golf swing. So when do we stay in our posture? How much do we bend forward? How do we move throughout the golf swing? And there's two different things that are happening as we're changing posture throughout the swing. So it's constantly changing. Once we understand the basic idea, it's going to be pretty simple to stay in your posture and hit some really good, clean, consistent golf shots. And I'm also going to hit a few golf balls. A lot of times I get questions, people wanting to see my swing or wanting to see me hit shots. I know there's a lot of instructors out there. Some of them can hit it really well. Some of them can't hit it very well at all. But it's just good to see that, it's not just me sitting up here talking about ideas. This is something that we can actually do. We can put it to use and we can play some good golf doing this. So before we start out, when I get to hitting the golf balls, what I have is my Flight Scope radar X2 Elite. It's a $12,000 radar that actually tracks the ball, and it's going to tell us how far we hit it and the direction that we're hitting the ball. I got it lined up right for my target in the distance, and I'll make some swings on that, and then I'll show you guys the live feedback on there. And then before we do that though, I want to talk about our posture and the two different things that we have with our posture. So when I'm talking about posture, I'm talking about our legs, our hips, and our upper body. So anything from the shoulders down, excluding the arms, excluding the club. I'm not worried about that at all in this video. Now, a couple things that would happen when we lose our posture. The most popular one is what's called early extension. So that means as we come into the downswing, our hips go forward, our upper body goes back, we end up kind of casting, flipping the club, and we look something like this at impact, rather than what you'd see with the pros would be more down in their posture as they're coming on through. If we're looking from this angle, that would be my hips coming forward and me casting the club. That's a loss of posture and what we call early extension. So there's two things that are happening, two different ways you can move your body. There's flexion and extension from your hips, which would be, this would be flexion. So what that means is my upper legs, my femur, the bone that's in there, and my pelvis are at a different angle. So I'm creating a sharper angle between my legs and my torso. So you can see my spine angle here is leaning forward. My legs are slightly bent. That would be flexion. Later in the swing, as I'm coming through contact, I'm going to get what's called extension, which means I'm straightening this up. So we call that early extension. That means I was standing up. That means I was doing that too early in my swing. My hips are moving forward, and now the line between my femur and my spine is one straight line. That's full extension. I go into hyperextension, I could do this, which is going even farther. That's the first way of talking about it in the swing. And then we also have side bend. Side bend to the right would basically mean when I take my shoulders and I bend them to the right like this. So in the downswing, for example, in the follow through, my right side is bent. I'm bent over to the right and I have a lot of side bend, right side bend. Opposite of that would be left side bend, going this way. So side bend to the right, side bend to the left. This would be neutral. And then we have flexion, meaning I'm going forward, and extension, meaning I'm coming up out of that. So as we're at address, what's happening is we're going to stand nice and tall. As I walk into this golf ball, I'm going to go ahead and let my hips drop back and my upper body, my torso, hinge forward pretty naturally. So there's not an exact amount that we want to do here. We want to make sure that my head's nice and high. I don't want to be standing up so tall that I have to crank my head down like this to see the golf ball. I see that sometimes from beginners. I'm going to tilt forward until my upper body just looks nice and relaxed. If you look at my arms, they're going to hang down pretty naturally to grip where I would be gripping the club. If I'm too far away from the ball and maybe too bent over, if my arms hung down naturally, well then I wouldn't be able to reach the ball. Right? I'd have to have my arms way out away from my body. Or if I'm here too close, well now all of a sudden I'm going to be standing kind of straight up and down to make room. So I just want to set up, I'm going to bend forward into flexion until I get comfortable. And we don't have to memorize any of these terms either. Just feel like your hips drop back. If you were to let your arms hang down about right here, that's about where we're going to be gripping the club. If you like to stand a little farther away from it, Mo Norman stood pretty far away from it. That was completely fine. Jim Furyk stands pretty close to it. That's completely fine. You can win $65 million, swinging like Jim Furyk. So there's things in the golf swing that are important and there's things that aren't as important. So it's important just to get comfortable and have a little bit of bend forward at address. Now, as we go to the top, actually let's go ahead and hit our first shot here and see how it goes. There we go. That one was dead straight, just a few yards to the right of the flag. And let's see what that one says. That's probably 2 or 3 yards to the right of the flag. So that was a 7-iron 176 carry, almost dead straight, a little bit of a fade. So that's our proper hinge forward. On that one, I just hinged forward until I got comfortable. Now at the top of the swing, we're actually going to have side bend to the left. We're going to go ahead and bend this way a little bit. That's going to keep our shoulders into posture. So what I mean by that is, as I go to the top of the swing here, let me go ahead and pause for you. I'm staying in my posture. So if I was to put a club across my shoulders, this club should be pointing out somewhere between 4 to 8 feet outside the ball. If a driver, it'll be a little bit more. Pitching wedge will be little bit less or a little bit more tilt. But I'm staying in the tilt. So there, I'm actually losing a little bit of this flexion. I'm keeping some of my flexion, which means I'm not doing this. If I was to stand up and do that, that would be your reverse pivot. So I got to keep a little bit of this forward bend from my body. That's flexion. If I was to have a lot of flexion, I would look like this. That would be a reverse weight shift. If I had no flexion, that would look like this. That's a reverse pivot, so your body's leaning back. So I got to keep a little bit of flexion, and I'm going to add into that some side bend. So as I go to the top, that's staying in my posture. Everything looks really good. I'm basically rotating around my body, keeping my spine at an overall forward angle. So you'll notice when I make this swing, my left shoulder stays down, my right shoulder goes up. I keep a little flexion in my hips, and I'm going to the top of the swing, keeping really, really nice posture. Let's try that one out. There you go, same thing. Cut that one a little bit more. Didn't hit it quite as good. Let's see what it says on the machine here. So just a little bit more of a fade. That one was 171, and again, just probably 10, 12 feet right of the target. So that's the top of the swing. We had left side bend, and we kept a little bit of flexion. Now as we come through impact, let's go, what we talk about in the top speed golf system is going right into the straight line release. That's when, if here's my golf ball that I'm hitting, I'm gonna get a lot of lag halfway down, and then as I come through this golf ball into the release, that angle of lag, watch the club. The club's pointing outside my forearms, big angle, and then as I come through, that club is releasing until it's gonna split my forearms when my club's about 45 degrees in front. You could also put a golf ball about 4 feet in front of the golf ball you're hitting, and you'd be releasing that angle to there. So when I get to that angle, this is kind of confusing to a lot of people. What I'm actually doing, I'm getting right side bend, and I'm also getting extension, so my hips are moving forward. Again, extension is when I do this, and then right side bend. When I put those together, let's go to my straight line release here. Again, I'm in my posture. As I start down and go to the straight line release, I'm still in my posture. Look how my shoulders are down. But to do that, I went from left side bend to right side bend. Now my right side is bent forward. And as I went through there, through the release, now I've lost all that. If I turn to a 45, let's actually go this way. If I go to my straight line release, now you can see this is extended. I was flexed. I extended my hips to get some power through the shot. The reason that's so important, and it makes sense in the golf swing, when we talk about this, we call it impact glide in the system, in the top speed golf system. My club, as I'm coming down, is going to get a lot of lag, and it's going to reach the lowest point. If you look at the butt end of the grip, it reaches the lowest point here. As I extend up, that grip is actually going to turn up, and that's going to get the club to whip through contact. And it's fully released when it gets to the straight line release on out in front. So I'm having, at the top, again, we're going to recap. I'm flexed at address, bent forward. At the top, I have left side bend, and I'm keeping a little bit of flexion. As I come through to the straight line release, I'm extending my hips, and I'm going ahead and getting some right side bend. Shoulders tilting to the right. When I do that together, you'll notice how it's here. I'm going to go ahead and go all the way on through this. And you'll see as I continue on around, now look how my shoulders are staying in their posture. So they're in posture here, they're in posture there. Now I have a lot of right side bend. My hips have flexed, or have extended forward, and now I've come all the way on through the straight line release. So if you watch that on this full swing, you're going to see that overall my spine angle, my posture is staying pretty consistent as I'm moving through these different positions. There you go. That one was also pretty daggone straight, maybe 8 feet left of the flag. That one had a little bit of a draw, almost dead straight, just barely to the left. Yeah, so probably 8 feet left of the flag, and we did 169, so about 170 again. Hit that one slightly off the toe. But I'm staying in my posture as I'm coming on through there. Now, last piece of this is when I make my full finish, here I am at the top in my posture. Here I am in the downswing in my posture. As I come all the way on around, notice that my spine is still tilted a little bit to the right. So even after I come all the way on through, my spine is still slightly over to that side, and my hip is actually a little bit this way. So basically all I'm doing there is I make my full finish, I'm here, I'm like this. The only difference is, so I'm kind of tilted to the right, only difference is I'm rotated all the way on around. So what that means when I put all these, you know, this is kind of a confusing video. It has a lot of detail, a lot of things that are going on, but overall, the main idea here is if I put a club across my shoulders and my spine is tilted forward, I'm gonna go to the top of the swing, my shoulders are gonna rotate around my spine, I'm gonna come all the way down to impact on through the shot, my shoulders are still staying in that same angle, rotating around my spine, and as I come all the way on through, I'm still slightly in that angle. And if we do these things right, we're gonna stay in our posture every time, we're gonna be very consistent with our golf swing. So I'm gonna finish this up by making another 3 swings, and I just want you to watch the overall spine angles and posture, and we'll see how straight I can hit these. That one was a little bit to the left. Again, that was probably maybe 15 feet left of the pin. We can see the difference there, or distance there. That was 169 again, 94.5 club head speed. So watch my shoulders on this one. I'll stay in my posture all the way on through till after I hit the golf ball. And that one is just barely to the right. I'm probably 10 feet to the right, overcompensated. I had a few to the left, trying to straighten it out. Let's see if we can end up with one right on the flag. Work on keeping my posture all the way through the shot. There we go, hit that one well. That's about 5 feet right of the flag. Hit that one a little harder than the last two. Let's check out the numbers there. There you go, so 174.2. So if I look at all those together, all those shots were within maybe 15, 20 feet of each other. And the only way that I'm able to do that is by staying in my posture so I don't have a lot of moving pieces. If I ever get to where I have a reverse pivot and all of a sudden my spine's going this way and that way, we talk about that in a stable fluid spine. That's the #1 fundamental in golf, in my opinion. Or if I'm coming up out of my posture, there's just no way that I can consistently put the club on the ball the same way every time. So work on these drills, or work through these. If you have any questions, you know, if you remember the website, post them in the comments below. I'll be sure to answer those. Good luck to you guys. Work on your posture. You're gonna be hitting that ball dead straight. All right, guys, I hope y'all really enjoyed this video. If you did, I got an even better bonus for you. If we want to get distance in the golf swing, we've got to get a lot of lag, and then we've got to let that lag go. Well, I've got my #1 lag video. I'm going to play a preview of that here in a second. If you're on a desktop device, go ahead and click the link that pops up on your screen. If you're on a phone or a tablet, click the iCard that's somewhere on your screen right now. That's going to take you to where you can get instant access to that full video. Plus, you're going to get 5 videos from our Top Speed Golf system. Never going to cost you a dime. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Click that thumbs up button. That really helps us out. And also remember to subscribe. That way you'll see our newest videos. See you guys in the lag video. Hi guys, and welcome back. I'm Clay Ballard, and in today's video we're going to talk about one of the absolute worst drills for creating lag. It's a very common drill that I see. And in this drill, what we're going to do is we're going to set the wrist very early to create an angle of lag, and then we're going to try to hold this throughout the swing. It's one of the worst things that you can do to build lag. I'm going to talk about the science behind why this is the case, and I'm also going to give you a great drill to help you improve your lag, all in this video. Let's go ahead and get started. If I do it this way versus holding that position. Exact same thing happens when we're building lag in the golf swing. So what we want to do is throughout the swing, I want to have a very low and wide takeaway. So I'm not going to set my wrist early at all. If you look at a lot of the top players, you look at Adam Scott, very wide takeaway, not very much wrist set at all. You look at Rory McIlroy, look at Tiger Woods. All these players are using a wide takeaway and not getting very much wrist set, so that later in the swing, as we start down, we can increase this wrist set, and we're really only going to max out this angle of lag for a split second in the downswing. Okay, so a 3-step drill here. Now, as we get started with this, I want to remind you that the fulcrum in this golf club for getting a massive amount of lag is right at the end of the golf club. This is where I want my hinge point to be.